Chapter 3. The Mind. 1. How does one destroy the mind? You cannot destroy the mind. You cannot tell the mind to disappear when you do not want it. It will not happen. You have to focus the mind on something else. The mind is a tool. It has nothing right or wrong about it. It is like a knife which you could use to cut fruits or vegetables. But with the same knife, you can cause harm to others also. The mind is a must. Otherwise, you cannot achieve anything. You cannot even put food in your mouth without your mind. You cannot do away with the mind. 2. How to withdraw the mind from thinking unnecessarily. Breathing is directly connected to the functioning of mind. It is the fuel to the thought process. Gaining control over breathing by practicing pranayama will aid in withdrawing the mind. When the mind is functioning at a higher pace, breathing becomes faster and heavier, whereas when it is calm, breathing slows down and becomes shallow automatically. Focus on the gap between two breaths, one between the inhalation and exhalation, and the other between exhalation and inhalation. Try to hold the breath between the two. It should be performed with ease, and one should not end up getting suffocated. And focus on the nothingness, blankness of mind, a state of absolute emptiness. Practicing this regularly has immense benefit in getting a grip over the functioning of the mind, and one can be established in the state of calmness for a longer period of time. Habituating the mind in this way will make it steady like water in which one can see the reflection crystal clear without any sort of distortions. 3. What is meditation, and what should we focus and concentrate upon during the process? Meditation is the third step. Concentration is the first step. Contemplation is the second step. It is concentration, contemplation, and then meditation. First, you have to develop concentration. Focusing your mind on one thing is concentration. It can be anything. It can be God's form, a lamp, or a flame. The mind is always moving outward, and you have to turn it inward. When you practice, your mind will become steady. Concentration is focusing your mind on one thing for 9 to 11 seconds. If you do it 9 times, that becomes contemplation, and 9 times of contemplation becomes meditation. When you practice concentration for the first time, you can focus your mind on anything, such as my photograph, a thought, an idea, or anything at all. However, first you have to steady your mind. Only then can you reach meditation. When you achieve meditation, whatever feeling emerges from your heart has to be understood. When you think that you're looking at God's photo, it is only concentration, not meditation. When you think that I am sitting here and I want to experience God, that is also concentration, not meditation. When you concentrate, there is an attempt or effort on your part. In contrast, meditation is effortless as it comes from within and happens naturally. When you see a photo of God, some feelings and thoughts emerge naturally. That is meditation. Therefore, before you attempt meditation, first learn concentration. Meditation is not something you do. God will do everything. He will tell you what He wants to tell you. He will show you what He wants to show you. He will make anything happen that He wants to happen. You are not doing anything in meditation. It occurs when you silence your mind, when there is no noise, and you can listen to the voice within. 4. How can I still my mind when I am meditating? Just as the body is energized by the physical food that you take, the mind is energized by the breath. The kind of breathing you do will affect your mind. When you're angry or excited, you tend to breathe very fast. When you're calm, your breathing is slow and steady. Therefore, the mind can be controlled using the breath. If you have too many fickle thoughts coming and disturbing you, start breathing very deeply. Slow down your breathing. By slowing down your breathing, you're not giving enough energy to the mind to keep moving this way or that way. Without the energy, it will slowly settle down. Once it settles down, things will be clearer. Therefore, practice deep, long breathing. In the initial days of practice, people will inhale and exhale quickly because they do not have the capacity to hold. But with practice, you will get better at it. Inhale for a duration, hold for the same length of time, and exhale for the same duration. This is the right method. Eventually, the duration of holding your breath should grow longer, and the inhalation and exhalation should reduce. So, practice deep breathing. It can help you control your mind and improve your meditation. 5. What is the process of becoming steady so that ultimately the goal is reached?
Pranavo dhanuhu sharohe atma, brahmatal lakshyamujyate,
Aparamatena vedhavyam
sharavattanmayo bhavet.
Mundaka Upanishad 2.2.4. Pranavo dhanuhu. Om is the bow. Sharohyatma, the arrow, is my own self. Brahmatalakshyamujyate, its goal is Brahman. Om is the bow, I am the arrow, and my goal is Brahman. And how do I attain that? The scriptures say, there is a bow called Om. There is an arrow called you. Put yourself on this bow of Om and shoot in such a way that you hit the target. The bullseye is Brahman, self-realization. And how do you do that? If you want to shoot, how steady should you be? If you shake and realize that you don't have enough force or strength and steadiness, can the arrow hit the target correctly? If you have enough steadiness but no strength, it will fall halfway. If there is strength but no steadiness, then what will happen? It will go and hit somewhere else. Therefore, two aspects are required. One is to be steady, sthiratvam, and second is the strength. Nayam atma balahina labhyo. Atma cannot be realized by the weak. It can be realized by the one who is strong, not physical strength, but that of the inner toughness of spiritual aspiration. Hold this Om, hold yourself as the arrow and hit the target called Brahman. And how do you hit that? Apramattena, without a miss. The one who does not waver means the one who does not fall into wrong ways or distractions of the moment. The one who is going to hit the target should not deviate, should not get distracted, should not fall into the lower ways, but keep his focus on the goal. Vedhavyam finally hits it. Who hits it? Only the apramattena, the one who is very steady and focused alone, hits the target. What happens once you hit the target? Sarvattanmayo bhavet. Like the arrow becomes one with the target, you become one with Brahman. Very simply explained. Purity is the strength of the mind. A pure mind is a strong mind. A desireless mind is the strongest mind. A mind full of desires is the weakest mind, can be tempted, distracted, can be dissuaded from its path very easily. If you have even one desire in your head, then the mind will take you on the wrong path, just to fulfill that desire, isn't it? Hook or crook, some way or the other. That desire makes the mind weak. How can an archer hit a target with no strength? If he has all the strength and no desire, yet his mind is still not steady and is very reckless and fickle, even then the arrow will not be able to hit the target. The goal will not be reached. That is why, observe the mind, remove or discard unwanted thoughts first. It is like less traffic on the road. 6. What is the idea behind prescribing silence? Silence is beyond language. It is said, Maunam munir lakshanam. Silence is the quality of a muni. The word muni, contemplator, is derived from mauni. Why does a muni always stay quiet? That is because he understands that it is a waste of time to speak. A muni is the one whose intellect is always steady, stable, and there is no vikara, meaning there is no change. His intellect is changeless. If there is a vikara, only then comes the need to express. Everything is good as it is, so why should I speak? Is the stance of a Muni. An incident from Ramana Maharishi's life is worth quoting. People would come and argue with him saying, which is better, destiny or free will? Initially he would have tried to explain, but later on he took to Maunam, as he realized that people came only out of idle curiosity. How does it matter Sunday comes first or Monday? Whichever day comes, take it as it is. What matters is how you live that day better than the previous day. There are some who argue, if it is God's will that I should be a criminal and not take to the path of spirituality, why should I suffer as it is He who decided that I should be a criminal? Then the answer to them is, it is God only who decided that you suffer the consequences of your criminal actions. Both are God's will. Take it that way. Or completely believe in free will saying, I deviated from His will, now I have to correct and escape out of it. But on the contrary, there are those who deviate out of free will and depend on God's will to correct and escape from consequences. But what if God's will has been that they should not correct themselves and suffer the consequences of a prison term? Therefore, all these logical wiles and guiles,
Tarka vitarka.
arguments and counter-arguments are of no use. The Maunis are very clear and hence don't waste time on explanations. Buddha once said, don't argue with fools. Then a fellow retorted, no, you have to explain to them what you mean. Buddha replied, yes, you're perfectly right. I don't want to argue with you. Silence or Maunam is a powerful tool for all spiritual path and purposes. Manam, mind. Mananam, contemplation. Maunam, silence. Muni, contemplator. The mind can be controlled through contemplation, which is thinking or holding on to one thought continuously, and then progress towards no thought, which is called amani bhava. The person who is in a continuous state of Maunam has no feeling of Dvaita or duality. Such a person attains the exalted state of a Muni. 7. What is intuition? Is this called the inner voice? To put it figuratively, intuition is God's whisper in the human heart, and therefore what it reveals is always true. Science is dependent on sense perception and reason for its pursuit of knowledge, while spirituality uses the additional means of intuition. Spirituality also employs all the basic scientific methods of induction and deduction, observation and experimentation, along with intuition, which makes up an integral approach to truth. Vedic sages call intuition as antasphurana or pratibha, the profound and powerful faculty emerging directly from the light of cosmic consciousness which illumines one's mind, senses, and intellect. It can therefore grant deeper insight into any phenomenon or event. By virtue of being closely associated with the source, intuition cannot be contradicted by reason or intellect. Revelations originate from the inner consciousness and reflect on the mind through the mechanism of intuition. Vedic truths were such revelations which emerged from within, and the sages were only the seers of these truths. That is why Vedas are called apaurushaya, not composed by men. Newton's discovery of the law of gravitation, Darwin's theory of evolution, and many other such great discoveries are attributed to intuitive flashes which these scientists received in their search for truth. There are many more scientists who claim that their intuition had helped them in their discoveries. 8. How do we strengthen the inner voice, which is called following our heart? It is not so much about meditation that is linked with following your inner voice. If you get that guidance when you feel as if something is tugging inside of your chest, pulling at your heartstrings, follow it and it will become stronger. The more you follow this feeling, the more strongly you will experience it. Do not think of it as a voice. It is a feeling that arises from within. It is a feeling that tells you what has to be done and drives you very deeply. Follow that feeling. The more and more you follow it, every instance that you follow it, this feeling will become stronger and stronger and stronger. Just like a mother who can recognize the voice of a child amongst a group of children, you will be able to hear that voice because you're focused on it. You should not only find that voice in the few minutes of meditation that you do. At every step, take a moment and ask, God, what do you want me to do in this instance? Then unhesitatingly, as you follow that first feeling, it will become so natural that you will reach a stage where you are no longer consulting God, because everything that you do will be in accordance with God's will. It will become that strong, but first, you have to practice it. Pray sincerely, Lord, I intend to do this. I just need your guidance. Should I do it? Immediately, the inner voice will tell you to do it or not to do it. Whatever you feel immediately about it, you have to follow the feeling that comes from within. The more you follow it, the stronger it will get, until it becomes second nature to you. You will direct all your actions under that guidance. Trouble comes when the inner voice says not to do something that you desperately want to do. Your mind says that you want it, and the heart says not to do it. This is where the conflict comes, and then you conveniently find reasons to say, no, that may not be my heart, it may be God. The heart will always tell you that which is selfless, while your mind tends towards self-justification, like the blind leading the blind. 9. How do we find our inner connection with God? To begin with, go to a quiet corner in your home, cut out the noise, close the doors, be silent, sit for some time. When a thought comes in the mind, it may tell you, what happened to my assignment? Tell the mind, not now, we will think about it later. I want to talk to God. This way, continue telling your mind gently, and one day it will learn to obey you. The mind will no longer disturb you. Then you can hear all that is happening from within. How do you know when God is speaking to you? The moment you hear God speaking, immediately you will feel happiness and a peace that you do not experience otherwise. The moment you hear God speaking, immediately you will feel so much of happiness and peace which you will not experience by listening to anybody else. However, you must practice. Without practice, it will not come. You must practice. 10. How can we be sure whether it is the heart or the mind that is speaking? There are 3 differences between what the mind tells you and what the heart says. First and foremost, the heart will tell you the same thing, whether today, tomorrow, the day after, or even after 10 years. It will never change because of people's comments. Secondly, the heart will tell you what is good for everyone and not just for yourself. Thirdly, the moment you listen to and follow the heart, you will immediately experience peace and joy. However, if you follow the mind, you will experience confusion and guilt. If you keep following your mind will become stronger. If you follow your heart will become stronger. The important thing is that you must follow your heart without fear. Following the heart requires courage. So, follow your heart and be courageous. Then you will experience peace. 11. Can you please explain about mukti or moksha? It is commonly believed all around the world that mukti or moksha is something to attain after the completion of life. It is a wrong belief born out of ignorance and lack of knowledge. Mukti is as and now. To get rid of all the selfishness, narrow-mindedness, and the consequences of actions is mukti. Moksha is to mohakshaya, that is, to get rid of all the attachments and bondages of the world. This can happen during one's sojourn on this planet. Everything is dependent on the attitude, the way one thinks and believes. It is said, Mano moolam idam jagat. The whole world is born out of the mind. Mastering the mind will set oneself free from all the miseries and sorrows of life, bestowing mukti or moksha immediately. 12. What are the essential steps for self-transformation? Take these 3 steps: I, to we to he. This is transformation. If you want to progress from man to God, the right method is to proceed from man to society and from society to God. From individual to society to God. This is the right royal way from the ground floor to the first floor to the second floor. That is how you can progress from I to we and then we to he. On the one side, you must have love for God, and on the other side, you should have service for humanity. These two together will take you like the two wings take the bird, so it can fly to any height. One drop cannot reach the ocean, so all of you must come together to serve society. Each drop must become a river. The river will flow into the ocean and become the ocean. So how can a drop become the ocean? It has to become a river so that it can flow into the ocean. When all of you work together in unity and purity, you will reach divinity. That is the easiest and the fastest path in spirituality. If you had to go to the Himalayas, stand there on one leg, not eat, not sleep, bear all the cold and the storms, do you think you would attain divinity? All that is not required. Just do seva. Love people and serve people. That is the fastest. 13. If everything is the will of God, then why do negative thoughts arise? Imagine a bunch of blind men looking at an elephant. One fellow may say the elephant is a pillar. Another may say it is a rope. Another a fan. That is because they have limited understanding of the elephant. Once they can see the elephant in its entirety, then they will understand the elephant in its entirety, not as just the parts they felt. In the creation, God provided two things to every person. One is the body, which is the instrument to do work. The other is the mind, which has a will of its own. Beyond the will of the mind is the divine will, which is in the heart. As long as you follow your heart, there is no such thing as mind, nor your will. However, once you entertain the idea of having a separate mind, your will comes into the picture. If a father gives sweets to his children, he does not take them back unless the child himself offers to return them to the father. Similarly, I have given you a small amount of will, a mind, just as I have given you a body. God is always positive, never negative. Whenever any negativity occurs, it is the lower mind alone which allows negative thoughts. Once you reach the stage where you realize that everything is God, then there is no such thing as positive or negative. Everything is seen as positive. God has given everybody a body, a mind, and a heart. The heart is the will of God. The mind is something you can choose to use or not use. If you use it, the mind will accordingly create its own thoughts and interfere with the workings of God. The body simply follows the mind. It is never at fault. The body is just a car. The mind is the driver. For those who have not attained oneness with the divine, there is the duality of free will and divine will. Until you, of your own accord, surrender your free will to God, it will be allowed to operate. 14. Is it practical to remember that I am divine all the time? I tell you that this is the most practical thing to remember because it is the one truth that does not change. Other things keep changing, like untruth. But since truth remains the same all the time, it is easy to remember the truth. Believe in the truth that I am divine 100% and thereby transform yourselves. This one thought can redeem you, can liberate you, and can make you what you truly are. Once there was a lady who came to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and said, "My son is not studying well since he does not have much intelligence. Give him a talisman or some other medicine so that he will become intelligent and study well." Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa looked at the boy and his very concerned mother. He then went inside and returned with a bottle of medicine. He told the mother, "Administer this medicine to the boy, 1 spoonful 3 times a day, and within 1 week he will improve." The mother and son were both very happy and returned home with the medicine. After a week, the medicine finished. So they came back to Ramakrishna, and the mother said to him, "Master, your medicine is miraculous. Suddenly my son's intelligence has improved. Can you give us some more, since he has finished it all?" Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said, "It's very simple. You can make the medicine at home. Take a glass of water and mix a spoonful of sugar. This is the medicine I gave you." The mother was surprised. She replied, "Do you mean to say that what you gave was only sugar syrup instead of medicine?" He answered, "The medicine may have been only sugar syrup, but the thought that went into it was, if I drink it, I will become intelligent. That was the true medicine. The sugar syrup did not make him intelligent in a week, but his belief that he could become intelligent made him intelligent. It is the same case with man. Man wants a miraculous way all of a sudden to become God. Guruji, give me a mantra, upadesha, or some spiritual practice so that I can become divine. How do I tell them that they are already divine? That there is nothing more to become? Just like this boy who realized that he was already intelligent, you only have to realize that you're already divine. You do not have to become divine. That you already are divine is the truth. It cannot be any simpler than this. So keep thinking about this truth and believe in it without an iota of doubt, saying, I am divine. You do not need a talisman, you do not need a mantra, and you do not need any particular way of becoming divine or reaching God. If you think you are divine, your actions will become divine. If your actions become divine, your character must also become divine. If your character is divine, you are divine. See, it is so simple. Just believe that you're divine. You have been told so many times that you're so and so with a body, with a name, born to such and such a person, belonging to such and such country. You have been told these things so many times that you believe it, whilst the truth that you are divine has not been told to you. If you only believe in this one simple truth that you are divine, then your thoughts, words, actions, destiny, everything will change. What is the point in me giving you more sugar syrup? It will not help. The next time you get angry, you must ask yourself, is this a divine thing? No, it is not. So it cannot be me. It cannot be my way. I must discard it. Divine means compassion and forgiveness. So let me adopt that and follow it. If you can develop desires which are not good, ask yourself, can God desire things like these? He cannot. I cannot have such desires. I must discard them. If you are tempted to act in a certain way which is selfish, which is not divine, you must remind yourself, I am divine. How can I act like this? You must then discard that action. The more you believe in your divinity, the more you believe that you are divine, your thoughts, words, and actions will transform. Practice, and you will become that divinity. 15. What does it mean when you say one should follow the heart? Conscious, conscience, and consciousness. You must understand these three. Physically, you are conscious, which means you are able to understand that you are alive, that you can feel, and that you can experience. You are conscious. Everything alive is conscious, even an animal. Conscience is the discrimination to decide what is right and what is wrong. It needs some contemplation. Hence, conscience is a faculty of the chitta or mind. Consciousness is Atma, which is continuously aware of what is right and what is not. Consciousness does not even have to put in effort to discriminate and think, for it already knows what is right. That is the connection that one must have with the heart. It will always tell you what is right. It will always tell you what is to be done. Unfortunately, the noise of the mind is so loud that the voice of the heart is always suppressed and you are unable to hear. Say you are in a marketplace. There are plenty of people talking and you get a phone call, but you cannot hear what is being spoken. You cannot even hear the person next to you because of the noise. However, when you go to a quiet corner and then speak, you can hear each other clearly. There is no misunderstanding, there is no confusion. When the mind is making plenty of noise, you cannot hear the voice of the heart. That is where people are having trouble. The mind is all about I and mine. It only thinks about itself. It cannot think of anybody else, always worrying. What about me? What about myself? What about my people, my things? It cannot cross the boundary of I and mine and makes plenty of noise in its own way. The moment you start thinking we and ours, living from the heart, the mind subsides. If you use your right hand continuously, it becomes skilled, able, and also strong. For those who use the left hand becomes strong. It depends on which you use. If you use the heart more, it will become stronger and stronger. If you use the mind more, it will overpower the heart. Thus, it is purely up to you. The choice to live by the heart has to be made, and then efforts have to be put forward to live by what the heart says. Even if the mind does not like it, even if the mind does not want it, even if the mind resists it, you must put it to rest and simply follow the heart. For the heart always knows what is right. It will always take you to the right destination. It may appear that it does not know or understand or is not able to think, but do not worry. When the heart decides, it is always right. Whenever you follow your heart, you will immediately find peace. There will be no more confusion, no more swinging back and forth. That is the quality of heart. Always thinking about others, not yourself. So that your thinking will be, what is good for others? What will make others happy, peaceful, and joyful? The heart always thinks like that. That is the way towards the divine. 16. When the soul has the yearning, but the mind plays its tricks, what can and should one do? Life is a game, play it. Life is a challenge, meet it. When two teams play football, they each want to put the ball into the other's goal. The opposing team will try to stop it from happening. That is the game. If you expect there to be no opponent and that you alone should play the game, that is no game. If you alone want to kick the ball and nobody should come between you and the goal post, it is not going to happen. This is the rule of any game. There have to be two teams, one who is going to try to score the goal and another who is going to oppose it. The goal of your life is to reach your divine destination, and the team that you belong to is the heart, which helps you go towards your destiny. The opposing team, mind, knowledge, and the senses try to obstruct it. Just like a good footballer who develops skills to outmaneuver his opponents by constantly practicing and perfecting his skills to get to the other goal in spite of all his opponents, you have to develop the skill of constantly using your heart and outmaneuvering your mind. It may not happen the very first day, but the constant practice of following your heart and avoiding your mind will help you to one day reach your goal. Failure is not dishonor, but not trying is definitely not honorable. Therefore, go on trying. God is present as your coach, and He will tell you how to do it. Listen to His wise advice, practice your game, and reach your goal. This is the game of life, the game between heart and mind. The more you practice, the better you will do. Whatever number of times the mind obstructs you, you will still reach the goal. This is what you should do when your mind comes in your way. 17. How can one distinguish between good and evil? Good and bad are in your mind. That which makes you receive God's love is good, and that which takes you away from God is bad. In life, you will face all kinds of problems. To solve those problems, there are two paths. One is Shreyo Marga, the good path, and the other is Preyo Marga, the pleasant path. Shreyo Marga will be difficult in the beginning, but later you will attain happiness. Preyo Marga will be pleasant in the beginning, but later on you will face misery. Whenever you face a problem or a difficult situation, ask yourself whether you should take the Shreyo Marga or Preyo Marga. That which is good for everyone is Shreyo Marga. If you are selfish and only look at your own good, it is Preyo Marga. The mind will always follow Preyo Marga, while the heart will follow Shreyo Marga. When you follow the heart, you will never get into trouble. The mind creates noise, but the heart gives you voice. When there is noise, the voice cannot be heard. If you want to listen to the voice, you must reduce the noise. Therefore, when you are on the wrong path, you should listen to the voice of God and pray to God so that you can return to the correct path. If you are moving towards the east, you cannot go to the west. When you are on the wrong path, you should come back with courage to the right path. Many people lack courage once they take to the wrong path. And because of ego, they bravely keep continuing on the wrong path thinking, I know what is in accordance with dharma, but I do not have the willpower to practice it. I know what is adharma, but I cannot give it up. You should not become weak like such people. You should have two things, viveka and vairagya, discrimination and detachment. Discrimination will allow you to distinguish what is good and what is merely pleasant, while detachment will give you the courage to give up what is not right. Adopt the philosophy that it is not your wishes or those of others that matter. What matters is pleasing the Lord or your highest self. If you practice that, you will follow Shreyo Marga easily. 18. How can I develop detachment, and what should be our mindset as we progress in life? Don't think that one day you will be able to wake up and develop detachment. It has to be gradually practiced. The way you have entangled yourself is the way you have to get yourself out of it too. That is the process. The first half of your life, brahmacharya to grihastha, is to get into the world. The second half of life, vanaprastha and sannyasa, is to get you out of the world. So, get into the world, do your duty, but don't lose your way like Abhimanyu did when he entered the Chakravyuha, but didn't know how to get out. Thus he got caught and killed. We all know how to get into this Chakravyuha. We educate ourselves and get into Grihastha-ashrama. Brahmacharya and Grihastha is what we know and follow till our last breath. But we don't follow the Vanaprastha and Sannyasa-ashrama to get out of this Chakravyuha. That is when we get caught. So spirituality teaches us how to get into the world. More importantly, it teaches us how to get out also and not get stuck there forever. Most of the world follows only the 50% till the end, which is convenient and attractive. The other 50% is what people miss. Somebody asked, why should the young boys take to the path of spirituality? Retirement age is appropriate, so why should they start so early? My reply is, Harati nimeshat kalaha sarvam. We never know the final moment. So live every moment in the world with a complete sense of detachment. So much so that if the next moment you have to drop the world, you should be able to do it without any anxiety, worry, or difficulty. You have come to the world to do some duty, contribute and learn. But you also must learn how to get out of the world with grace, not with remorse, not with repentance, not with difficulties. You should leave as smoothly as you entered. Our scriptures say that this is the true and the right way of living in the world. 19. How does the food we eat have an impact on the mind? In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is mentioned that sage Bhrigu went to seek divine knowledge. He realized the truth that from food comes everything, and from food arises divinity. Food enters into the body and makes the mind. When food is sacred, all the five senses, sound, touch, smell, sight, taste, are sanctified. As is the food, so is the mind. As is the mind, so are the thoughts. As are the thoughts, so are the acts. To purify the mind, the first prerequisite is pure food. But it may not be possible at all times to ensure the purity of food. Sometimes you may not know the thoughts with which the food is being cooked, and therefore, to get over this difficulty, the way out is to make an offering of the food to the divine and regard it as a gift from God before eating. All the impurities in the food are thereby removed. This helps the process of cleansing the mind. But food is not only what we eat. Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we touch, whatever we feel, and whatever we experience is also food. It is a mistaken notion to think that what we partake through the mouth alone is food. There are 5 ingredients in the Annamaya Kosha: hearing, touching, seeing, tasting, and smelling. All these constitute the organs of the human system, the body. We need to therefore hear only good, see only good, etc., as these will also create impressions in the mind.